everybody. Welcome to the Centaur Scrolls, Lore, Fire, and Forbidden Texts with me, your hostess, Reverend Mother Mary Catherine. Well, it says I only got 8 seconds of video, so I don't know if you heard all that. But at any rate, thank you for joining me, and I'd like to wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. Even the fathers who don't have children, like clergy, who we call father. I hope you have a wonderful day. And a couple of announcements before we get started. Thank you to all who have generously given to the Order of Centaur. The Hermetic Sentinel is coming for those of you who are subscribed. We're just waiting for the supplies, and it will be in your mailbox before July. Another short announcement, and we'll get going with Aradia. The store.centaur.com is now open, and we have a 10% discount on your entire order with the code grand opening. So we're excited about that. Please go check it out. If you want any titles listed that are either ours from Centaur or Llewellyn, please give me a shout either in my IMs or email me at sister.kate@centaur.com. And with that, let's get going. We're in Aradia, or the Gospel of the Witches. Officially the last chapter, but there's quite a bit before or after this. So we'll go one more week, probably after today, in Aradia, and then we'll be looking for a new book. How exciting. Okay, so here we go. Chapter 15, Laverna. The following very curious tale with the incantation was not in the text of Vangelo, but it very evidently belonged to the cycle or series of legends connected with it. Diana is declared to be the protectress of all outcasts, those to whom the night is their day. Consequently of Thebes and Laverna, as we may learn from Horace, and it says Epistle 16:1, and Plautus was preeminently the patroness of pilfering and all rascality. In this story, she also appears as a witch and a humorist. It was given to me as a tradition of Virgil, who often appears as one familiar with the marvelous and hidden lore of the olden time. It happened on a time that Virgil, who knew all things hidden or magical, he who was a magician and poet, having heard a speech or oration by a famous talker who had not much in him, was asked what he thought of it, and he replied, "It seems to me to be impossible to tell whether it was all introduction or all conclusion. Certainly there was no body in it. It was like a certain fish of whom one is in doubt whether they are all heard or all tall, or only heard and tall, or the goddess Laverna, of whom no one ever knew whether she was all head or all body, or neither or both." And then the emperor inquired who this deity might be, for he had never heard of her. And Virgil replied, "Among the gods or spirits who are of ancient times, may they be ever favorable to us. Among them was one female who was the craftiest and most knavish of them all. She was called Laverna. She was a thief, and very little known to the other deities who were honest and dignified. for she was rarely in heaven or in the country of the fairies. She was almost always on earth, among thieves, pickpockets, and panders. She lived in darkness. Once it happened that she went to a mortal, a great priest, in the form and guise of a very beautiful, stately priestess of some goddess, and said to him, "You have an estate which I wish to buy. I intend to build on it a temple to our God. I swear to you on my body that I will pay thee within a year." Therefore the priest transferred to her the estate, and very soon Laverna had sold off all the crops, grain, cattle, wood, and poultry, and there was not left the value of 4 farthings. But on the day fixed for payment there was no Laverna to be seen. The goddess was far away, and had left her creditor in the lurch. At the same time, Laverna went to a great lord, and bought of him a castle, well furnished within, and broad rich lands without. But this time she swore on her head to pay in full in 6 months. And she said, and she had done by the priest, so she acted to the lord of the castle, and stole and sold every stick, furniture, cattle, men, and mice. There was not left wherewith to feed a fly. And the priest and the lord, finding out who this was, appealed to the gods, complaining that they had been robbed by a goddess. And it was soon made known to them all that was Laverna. Therefore she was called to judgment before all the gods. And when she was asked what she had done with the property of the priest, and to whom she had sworn by her body to make payment at the time appointed, and why she had broken her oath, she replied, by a strange deed which amazed them all. For she had made her body disappear so that only her head remained visible, and it cried, "Behold me! I swore by my body, but I have none." Then all the gods laughed. And the priest came, and the lord who had also been tricked, to whom she had sworn by her head. And in reply to him, Laverna showed to all present her whole body, without mincing matters, and it was one of extreme beauty, but without a head. And from the neck thereof came a voice which said, "Behold me, for I am Laverna, who have come to answer to that lord's complaint, who swears that I contracted debt to him and have not paid, although the time is o'er, and that I am a thief because I swore upon my head, but as you can see I have no head at all, and therefore I assuredly ne'er swore by such an oath." Then there was indeed a storm of laughter among the gods, who made the matter right by ordering the head to join the body and binding Laverna to pay up her debts, which she did. Then Jove spoke and said, "Here is a roguish goddess, without a duty or a worshipper, while there are in Rome innumerable thieves, sharpers, cheats, and rascals, ladri, bindolini, trafori, e scaroni, who live by deceit. These good folk have neither a church nor a god. It is a great pity, for even the very devils have their master, Satan, as the head of the family. Therefore I command that in future Laverna shall be the goddess of all knaves or dishonest tradesmen, and the whole rubbish and refuge of the human race, who have been hereto without a god or a devil, insomuch as they have been too despicable for the one or the other." And so Laverna became a goddess of all dishonest and shabby people. Whether anyone planned or intended any knavery or aught wicked, he entered her temple and invoked Laverna, who appeared to him as a woman's head. But if he did his work of knavery badly or maladroitly, when he again invoked her, he saw only the body. But if he was clever, and he beheld the whole goddess, head and body, Laverna was no more chaste than she was honest, and had many lovers and many children. It was said that, not being bad at heart or cruel, she often repented her life and sins. But do as she might, she could not reform, because her passions were so inveterate. And if a man had got any woman with child, or any maid found herself enceinte, and would hide it from the world and escape scandal, they would go every day to invoke Laverna. And when the time came for the suppliant to be delivered, Laverna would bear her in sleep during the night to her temple, and after the birth cast her into slumber again, and bear her back to her bed at home. And when she awoke in the morning, she was ever in vigorous health and felt no weariness at all, seemed to be to her as a dream. But those who desired in time to reclaim their children, Laverna was indulgent, if they led such lives as pleased her, and faithfully worshipped her. And this is the ceremony to be performed, and the incantation to be offered every night to Laverna. There must be a set place devoted to the goddess, be it a room, a cellar, or a grove, but ever a solitary place. Then take a small table, the size of 40 playing cards, set close together. This must be hid in the same place, and going there at night. Take 40 cards and spread them on the table, making of them a close carpet or cover on it. Take of the herbs para and concordia, and boil the two together, repeating meanwhile the following incantation. I boil the cluster of concordia to keep in concord and at peace with me, Laverna, that she may restore to me my child, that she be by her favoring care, may guard me well from danger all my life. I boil this herb, yet 'tis not it which boils. I boil the fear, that it may keep afar any intruder, and if such should come to spy upon my right, may he be struck with fear. In his terror, haste away. Having said this, put the boiled herbs in a bottle, and spread the cards on the table one by one, saying, incantation, I spread before me now the 40 cards. Yet 'tis not 40 cards which here I spread, but 40 of the gods superior to the deity Laverna, that their forms may each and all become volcanoes hot, until Laverna comes and brings my child. And till 'tis done, may they all cast at her hot flames of fire, and with them growing coals, from noses, mouths, and ears, until she yields. Then may they leave Laverna to her peace, free to embrace her children at will. Laverna was the Roman goddess of thieves, pickpockets, shoekeepers, or dealers, plagiarists, rascals, and hypocrites. There was near Rome a temple in a grove where robbers went to divide their plunder. There was a statue of the goddess. Her image, according to some, was a head without a body, according to others, a body without a head. But the epitaph of beautiful applied to her by Horace indicates that she, who gave disguises to her worshippers, had kept one to herself. She was worshipped in perfect silence. This is confirmed by a passage in Horace, and it says Epistles 16, lib 1, where an impostor, hardly daring to move his lips, repeats the following prayer or incantation. O goddess Laverna, give me all of cheating and deceiving and making men believe that I am just, holy, and innocent. Extend all darkness and deep obscurity over my misdeeds. It is interesting to compare this unquestionably ancient classic invocation to Laverna with the one she is before given. The goddess was extensively known to the lower orders, and in Plautus, a cook who had been robbed of his implements called on her to revenge him. I call special attention to the fact that in this, as in a great number of Italian witch incantations, the deity or spirit who is worshipped, be it Diana herself or Laverna, is threatened with torment by a higher power until he or she grants the favor demanded. This is quite classic, in example, Greco-Roman or Oriental, in all of which sources the magician relies not on favor, aid, or power granted by either God or Satan, but simply on what he has been able to wrench and wring, as it were, out of infinite nature or the primal source by penance and study. I mention this because a reviewer has reproached me with exaggerating the degree to which diabolism, introduced by the church since 1500, is deficient in Italy. But in fact, among the higher classes of witches, or in their traditions, it is hardly to be found at all. In Christian diabolism, the witch never dares to threaten Satan or God, or any of the Trinity or angels. For the whole system is based on the conception of a church and of obedience. The herb Concordia probably takes its name from that of the goddess Concordia, who was represented as holding a branch. It plays a great part in witchcraft after verbena and rue. And there are a few footnotes here. One, this was a very particular characteristic of a Diana who was involved in a similar manner. I've here omitted much needless verbiage or repetition in the original manuscript and also abbreviated what follows. 2, all of this indicates unmistakably in several respects a genuine tradition in the hands of crafty priests. This would prove a great aid to popularity. And 3, I conjured that this is a wild poppy. The poppy was specially sacred to Ceres, but also to the night and its rites. And Laverna was a nocturnal deity, a play on the word para, or fear. And 4, this passage recalls, strangely enough, the worship of the Greco-Roman goddess Pavor, or fear, and attended on Mars. She was much invoked, as in the present instance, to terrify intruders or an enemy. Achilles, I'm probably murdering that, makes the 7 chiefs before Thebes swear by Fear, Mars, and Bellona, Mem Akkad of Inscriptions, verse 9. And with that, ends chapter 15. And next week we'll do everything in the appendix and figure out what the next book will be for the following week. So with that, thank you for joining me again, and blessed be.